communication with COVID, I'm not surprised if you haven't heard of it. That's why I'm here to talk with you tonight, to hopefully get you into the program and to help us promote it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and then take it from there. So Flyer Connection, this is the landing page for the program, is the university's networking and mentoring platform. And it's available to all University of Dayton students and then alumni as well. And it is essentially our LinkedIn platform that alums are signing up to help students. And when I say students, it's undergrad, master's, law students, where before our mentor program was very limited to a one-to-one connection. So when you decide to sign up and create a platform, the website is flyerconnection.udayton.edu. It's very simple. This is the landing page. You join our community, and as a student, when you use your UD login, it will already pull some of your information like your major, class year, and that stuff, and will help you start the login process. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like as a student. So right now I'm logged in as a student, and you're going to see a few things from my side that you might not see, and it's only because I'm an admin. So I'm going to walk you through some of the highlights of this, and I should have said this. So I'm going to walk you through this, but then at the end I'm going to take questions. And so if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask them, because I really want to make sure that you understand the platform and feel like we are giving you the best available assets for when you're a student and then when you graduate. So this right here, I'm on a home page for a student. It looks a little different than an alumni side, but once you complete your profile, the system matches up. When you sign up, it's going to ask like basic questions of like, what's your major? Were you involved with anything on campus? But then it asks you a few questions about what are your passions? Where would you like to live when you graduate? And it will connect you or recommend connections to alums that line up with your specific areas that you've said. So this is your homepage, but I'm going to highlight 3 specific areas. This Explore community is really valuable. So when we launched roughly a year ago to alums, our goal for the first year was to have 500 alums complete their profile. We are just shy of 2,300 alums that have completed their profile. So that to me is like very exciting, especially when you see like everything that we've all dealt with this year. And it just shows that our alums really, really want to help our students succeed professionally. This platform, it's not just a way to connect with each other in a social environment, it's professional development. So these alums have signed up and created their portfolios with the intention of helping students. So as a student, when you go on and you connect with an alum, they really want to be there to support you. So this Explore community, and again, this is going to show, it's lined up with my answers. So some of this stuff will be different when you go on there. But the first few lines are matched up with, well, first it's going to show us who we have online right now. And then it's more of who matches with what I'm interested in. And with my job, I kind of checked everything that I'm interested. So you're going to see a lot of people, but you can be very specific in lining up who you want to see. So I'm going to show you Chicago. I don't know if you guys know, but Chicago is actually our largest alumni community outside of Ohio. And it's also one of it's outside of Ohio. It's the #1 city that we recruit students and then our students move to after graduation. So if you're interested in going to Chicago, so we're going to hone in on Chicago, and you can put like all the other suburbs and all of that stuff as well. Right now, I'm just hitting on Chicago. We've got 166 alums that have said Chicago is their area. And then you are interested. One thing that I want to note for alums, when you're on the platform or even LinkedIn, don't search by major, search by industry. I'm a UD alum, I'm a 2006 grad. My major was International Studies, Human Rights, but I've always worked in the nonprofit sector. So if you are really trying to hone in on someone that you're interested in, search by industry, not major, because a lot of people switch around. You'll also find a lot of people that might have worked in sales, but now are in finance. So don't always go to the major piece, go to the industry. So we're looking for Chicago. And then I'm going to say, let's try and find someone in entrepreneurship. And then, so we're going to apply these filters. And it looks like we have 8 exact matches. Well, if you don't know Mike Herr right here, he's the CFO of SRAM, which is a major bike company. And he's also on our Parent Leadership Council. He's a big deal. And for someone like this to be on here and say that he's willing to help, like this is someone you want to connect with. And we're right now just exploring the community. We're not in the mentorship program. So you can reach out to Mike with a one-off question. And we've got Mike's profile right here that shows that he's a UD undergrad. He went to DePaul for his master's. And we're going to message Mike. Great thing about this portfolio, the platform, is it's very user-friendly. If you haven't been on here, there's a lot of things that you'll explore and you guys will recognize it's very similar to other like LinkedIn and other platforms that you've been on. And I want to talk with Mike about networking. And the platform has built-in templates for you to start using. And it will also help you that if you get rid of things, like if you take out the thank you, it's going to show you over here on the side that you need to show some gratitude. Tell Mike thank you for the question. Also, if you were to say, can you give me a job? I'm going to say, shouldn't ask for a job. If you don't already know this, the first outreach to an alum, our alums want to help you. They want to answer questions. They want to help you with jobs, but don't make that your first outreach. So the system tells you, don't do that. So when I take that out, this little sidebar is going to disappear, but it's still telling me to say thanks. So then I can send this to Mike. I'm not going to do it now because it will send to him, but it will also allow me to set up, if Mike has said, I want to connect with students and I want to do meetings or calls. When it says meetings, it's like video or emails. So don't worry about the like in-person piece. But Mike has said, I'll talk with students. So that's your one way to talk with Mike, who's in Chicago, about networking. I want to show you the next piece because I know I'm already kind of limited on time. I'm going to show you our networking, or I'm sorry, the alumni mentoring program. So it used to be, if anyone has ever been involved in our alumni mentoring program, it was very traditional one-to-one. If you were an undergrad student, you were matched with an alum. And then we also we tried to look in what you might be interested in, but we couldn't always guarantee that it would be the best match. Well, now we give you the opportunity to favorite your top 3 mentors. And we try really hard to match you with someone that you have favorited, or we ask you questions that say, like, where do you want to live? What are you passionate about? And then we base it on those. So the mentoring program, right now we have, so there's 185 members within the program, but roughly 123 of those are mentors, or 122. So these are alums that are in the program, and you can see their profiles. And you can find people that you say, okay, I'm interested in this person being my mentor. And every 2 weeks until the end of January, I go in and I match a student with an alumni mentor. And it might sound a little intimidating. It's one of those things that we hear that I don't know about connecting with someone and having this mentorship for the calendar or the academic year. It's not quite as intimidating as you might think because they're a flyer. They want to support you. They have lived in the student neighborhood or in a dorm. So if you don't know what to talk about, you can always go back to the basics of what was it like when you were a student? Where did you live? But these alums, they also can provide you with general career advice if it's not lined up with your major. But to help with any situation that you might feel like, I don't know what to do, we give you goals. And I'm not logged in as a student, so you won't see them. But once we pair you with a mentor, we give you these goals that are very generic that help you if you're not sure how to move forward. And the goals are like, share your LinkedIn profile with your mentor and have them review it. Have your mentor connect you with 2 of their peers to do mock interviews. Have them review your resume. they have goals as well. And then you can chat back and forth within the platform to try and knock off your goals. If you don't use those, that's totally fine because you can walk in and say, here's really what I'm trying to go with. I'm going to graduate in May. I want to move to LA. I don't know anyone. Do you have advice for me? And then you can just move forward from there. And there are a lot of mentorship pairings that do that as well. So that's our mentorship program. I did the quick explore community. And then the last one I'm going to hit on before we open up to questions is our groups piece. And the groups, we are just getting started in this area. And you're going to see on mine, some of these you won't have access to. It's because I'm an admin. But we've created groups based on affinity and industry. And so some of these groups, like we've got our engineering group, a first gen group, LGBTQ. We also have, this is a new one that we just launched this fall, the Multicultural Business Leadership Program, where these groups are open to anyone that's within the platform. You can join. And I'm going to show you the Veterans Military Affairs because I think this one was set up really nicely. It shows like what about the group, the admins, and then there's a discussion board that anyone is able to go in here and post on the board. So once you join the group, you can post on there and you can ask questions and anyone can respond to those questions. So it's a great way for you to, like, if you are a veteran or you're maybe one of your parents is a veteran and you're trying to figure out your way through finding different scholarships or things like that, you can communicate with alums or other students within those groups. Same with our engineering group. This is a good example of you might not be an engineer, or actually, let me flip it. You're an engineer, but an alum that is looking to hire an engineer that might not be an engineer, they can join it and they can search the students that are in there, reach out to engineering students and say, hey, I've got an internship. Are you interested? So these are groups that we have going on that are just another opportunity for you to meet alums across the country. So we are just under 3,000 individuals within the platform. And like I said, 2,300 are alums, and then the rest are students. But the individuals that are in here want to help you. So this is a great way as you are, if you're graduating, build your professional network, or even if you're a first year student, get in here and start those conversations of how do I network? How do I build my professional, review my resume or different opportunities like that. These are people that want to help you. So I know I talked really fast. This is something that I could probably talk about for an hour, but I want to make sure that I can answer any of your questions. And something that I selfishly would like to ask as well is, one of the things that we've had a hard time with is the ability to promote this platform to students. So if you have ways that you would offer for me to try and get the word out to students, I would love to hear that as well. So at that time, I'm going to hand it back to Anne to see if we have any questions. Anyone?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I might have missed this. My internet's been kind of odd today. Is there a count on how many students are currently have moved onto the platform?
Yes, so students, we right now have just under 700 students. And one of the things, when you graduate, we flip your student profile to an alumni profile. So we were a little bit higher, but we decreased after we transitioned the May graduates to an alumni profile. And you do have a little bit more access as an alum versus a student. So as a student, you can see all of the alums in the platform and you can reach out to all of the alums. But the alums cannot see the student profiles. And as a student, you can't see the other students in there. Just for the purely professional mindset of the program, we have offset that side of it.
Okay. And then kind of going along with that, is there anything SGA can do to kind of help drive those numbers up, especially seeing as I think a lot of students are worried about graduation, and I think this is a very valuable platform to get the word out about?
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that question. It is one where I actually have had quite a few alums reach out to me of how can we help students? We know this is a difficult time. And so we have a lot of alums in the platform, but it's one of those just informing students of this platform that's available is tough. So one, if you can create a your own profile, and then if it's, and I don't know, I know SGA has helped promote Donor Appreciation Week, whether it's I share slides or Instagram stories, and it's something that you're able to promote on your Instagram, that would be wonderful. It's the hard part is just being able to reach out to students right now. I don't have a lot of access with that. So any communication that SGA can promote it would be huge for me.
This is just like a little bit of a follow-up question to what Ryan was asking, but do you all have a specific graphic that you've been circulating that could be forwarded to SGA that we could post?
Definitely, yes, I can send that. And if you tell me, I know I have Anne's email, but if there's someone else that's your social media person, I can send it that way. Career Services, I also have a partner in Career Services, and they have helped us promote it as well. They often do it through their Handshake emails, but I know not everyone has a Handshake profile, or it may get lost in their emails because they have so many great opportunities for students. But I can send that on to whoever is the right person.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. I can even email you with that person's email copied in on it after the meeting.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Does anybody have any other questions? I will say, like, I know I talked very fast, but once you get in here and you can create a profile, and then if you don't use it again, I mean, I would actually be kind of shocked, but you'll see it's very user friendly. I got an email from our former Day 10 chair yesterday. And if you don't know what Day 10 is, when you graduate, you're part of Day 10. It's your first 10 years out from the university. He works at Google, and he took 2 meetings with students that reached out to him just this past week about living in San Francisco and working for Google. So it's one of those that you'd be pretty impressed by who's in here and is willing to help you. So just get in and explore, and you'll find there's a lot of things that I didn't talk about that you might find like, okay, this works for me, especially this explore the community. If the mentoring program is not quite up your alley, we call it flash mentoring, where you just reach out to an alum, like on a one-off of, here's my question, I see you are an attorney, how do I get into this field? You can do that really simply through the platform. Anybody, any other questions before I hand it back over to Anne? If you have a profile, thank you. I know Andrew's on here. He's one that I know has one. That's awesome. Thank you for completing your profile and using it already. We did an event earlier this year that if a student attended 2 alumni webinars, completed a profile, they were able to win a business suit. So we try to do things like that to help build our, what's the word I'm looking for?
Outreach.
Outreach across campus. Thank you. I was thinking profile, but I say that a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know Students for University Advancement is something that supports them a lot. I have a profile online, as Mackenzie said, just because it was an event that we did earlier this year that helped promote it. And we did a seminar on that as well, but it is really cool. And I do have one as well.
Great. Okay, well, with that, if anyone has any questions, the website is flyerconnection.udayton.edu. You can, once you've fill out your profile, I'm the admin. Any question emails go to me, or you can email me directly at mmorin1.udayton.edu. I'd love to help you with anything, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with all of you. And have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a great holiday break.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, Michael, did we have any funding presentations tonight?
We do not.
Okay. Okay, Grant, will you hop into attendance then, please?
James Brill,
Here.
Jada Brown,
Present.
Jules Carr-Chelman,
Present.
Natalie Coppolino,
Here.
Morgan Cox,
Here.
Lillian Dickman,
Here.
Jesse Edwards,
Here.
Michael Fields,
Here.
Sophia Garcia,
Here.
Jessica Garvin,
Present.
Mason Gordon,
Here.
Daniel Hennessy,
Present.
Courtney Henthorn,
Here.
Hannah Hobie,
Here.
Andrew Hubert, Jake Jagels,
In attendance.
Bridget Mooney is absent tonight, Drew Moyer,
Here.
Ryan Pearson,
Here.
Annie Philbin,
Here.
Grace Perucci,
Here.
Luis Rogel,
I'm here.
Jack Santee,
Here.
Kelly Stewart, Jacob Troutwine, and Rachel Veneman.
Here.
Great, thank you.
All right, thanks, Grant. Do we have any public announcements tonight? I think we have all internal members tonight, but I'll do one quick look on the Zoom again. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's all internal members. Do we have any public comments or concerns then? Okay, seeing none. Do we have any SGA members who would like to give a report? Just go ahead and unmute yourselves.
Yeah, I could go first. As director of Camps Unity, I and my committee and I found a day that works best for us to meet. That is Tuesday afternoons at 8 p.m. So my committee and I will meet on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. to discuss the Tough Talk that was planned for this past week, but got postponed. I know Ryan's working on a potential date that will be figured out soon enough. But currently what has been going on is I've had some of the members on my committee start researching some examples and good, I don't know, just like some examples of systemic racism in Dayton. I'm trying to plan out the event itself on how to be interactive, keep people engaged. I've heard a lot of complaints over like the path points where people say that after a certain amount of time, they don't really want to pay attention anymore. And also the fact that this is an educational, it would be an educator, Tough Talks are educational. I want to make sure that people leave the event learning something that they might have not known before, or learning something more in depth than what they've known before. So yeah, I've been planning it along with my committee, but yeah.
That's amazing. Thanks, Luis. Does anyone else have a report to give?
Report in regards to the SGA Anti-Racism Internal Working Group. So we met for the first time this past Thursday, and we met for about like 45 minutes. We just discussed our plans with the group. And also too, we're looking for like as many members that are like interested in joining. Some of the things that we covered was the spring 2021 elections and information sessions, possibly altering those, and also reaching out to underrepresented students more so around election time.
All right, thanks, Jess. Anyone else?
Yeah, real quick. So SGA this past week included another update in the Campus Digest, just announcing the new appointments. And next week, we're going to be including another announcement. So if anyone has something that they want included in there, you can send me an email or send me a message on Slack. Just try and get it to me by this Friday.
All right, thanks, Grant. Do we have any other people who would like to give a report tonight?
I've got a quick little one. So for legislation, I'd like to thank everyone for reading it. Apologies for the late sending out of it. That will hopefully not be occurring so much. And also thank you to all of those who helped write it, especially Mason Gordon, took a lot of initiative on writing this legislation and getting co-sponsors and sponsors, did a fantastic job. And I just like to encourage everyone to think about some legislation over break and hopefully come up with stuff in the future.
Thanks, Jake. All right, anyone else that would like to give a report? All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and jump into my report. It's real brief tonight, but SGA will be heading up a social media initiative called 12 Days of Flyer Wellbeing. We are teaming up with student development as well as Dr. Pika from Academic Senate. And this will just be videos of people across campus revealing tips about just how flyers can remain healthy and happy while they're on break. So be on the lookout for these videos coming soon on our SGA Instagram page. And when you see them, feel free to encourage others to watch them too by posting them on your own stories and social medias. As Jessica said, we did have our first anti-racism internal working group meeting this week. We just kind of discussed elections and appointment processes for spring 2021 elections. I added a channel in the Slack and also will be posting all of the meeting minutes in the working group folder in the SGA drive. So you all have access to everything. So feel free to check those out if you would like to. And then lastly, we will not be having Senate next Sunday just because of Thanksgiving. And typically we would be driving back to school on that Sunday. So we'll still be honoring that. And we just won't have Senate. Take time to spend with your family or catch up on work or other great stuff. And that's really all I have. Have safe travels home and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
With that, we will move into Senate floor. If the secretary could please call the roll of voting members.
James Brill,
Here.
Jada Brown,
Present.
Jules Carr-Chelman,
Present.
Morgan Cox,
Here.
Jesse Edwards,
Here.
Sophia Garcia,
Here.
Jessica Garvin, Daniel Hennessy,
Present.
Hannah Hobie,
Here.
Andrew Hubert, Brian Pearson,
Here.
Grace Perucci,
Here.
Tommy Reese is absent today, Luis Rogel,
I'm here.
Jack Santee,
Here.
Kelly Stewart, Ben Thomas, also absent, Jacob Troutwine, and Rachel Veneman.
Here.
All right.
So by my count, that is 14 voting members. Is that correct, Mr. Secretary?
That's correct. I'm Ms. Drew Moyer, and he's here today.
All right, thank you. The time is 6:31. I hereby call Senate floor to order. Do we have any old business to discuss at this time? Seeing and hearing none, do we have any new business? Any points or motions?
I move to bring Senate Bill 2021-12 to the floor.
Thank you, Senator Moyer. Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
Hearing a second from Senator Brown, we will, all those in favor of bringing Senate Bill 2021-12 to the floor, please raise your hands. All opposed? Seeing a majority in favor, we will go to Senate Bill 2021-12, proposed bylaw changes. Attorney General Gordon, you have the floor.
Thank you, Speaker Jagels. All right, this is a brief bylaws change. It's just a small thing. It is on the 4th page. It is section 2 of legislative procedures. It basically just states that any elected or appointed member of the UDSGA may sponsor a resolution. This is a change I see necessary because for members of exec like myself who like to write the resolutions, or committee members, or like heads of committees that don't have a seat on Senate, they have to find a senator to sponsor legislation for themselves. So an example of this could be if the head of the mental health committee wanted to write a resolution on some issue they see on campus relating to mental health. Jagels, will you share the screen, please? So if the head of mental health committee wanted to write a resolution about, say, an uptick in the need for, I don't know, counselors on campus, urging the administration to maybe commit more resources to this, they wouldn't have to jump through hoops to write this resolution. They would just write this resolution, bring it to floor, and then allow the voting members of Senate to vote on that resolution and amend it if friendly or not. Anybody have any questions about this?
I move for previous question.
Thank you, Senator Moyer. Do we have a second? Seeing a second from Director Pearson. All those in favor of moving the previous question, please raise your hands at this time. All those opposed? At this time, we will move into voting procedure on Senate Bill 2021-12, proposed bylaw changes. Well, all those in favor, please go to the participants tab, click the green check mark for yes, the red X for no, and the go slower to abstain. By what appears to be a unanimous vote, Senate Bill 2021-12 has passed. Do we have any further points or motions at this time?
I move to bring Senate Resolution 2021-11 to the floor.
Thank you, Senator Moyers. Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
Hearing a second from Senator Brown. All those in favor of bringing Senate Resolution 2021-11 to the floor, please raise your hands at this time. All those opposed? Seeing none opposed, we will go to this resolution. One moment, please. Attorney General Gordon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Speaker. So this is a resolution dealing with international relations and politics. I'll just give a brief summation. The country of Belarus had an election in the past few months, and it's a widely known fact that Alexander Lukashenko is the last dictator of Europe, and seeing how we have a platform as small as it may be, I would like to take this opportunity to sort of preach some international advice to the United States government. Basically, the United States government has decided not to take any stance on the issue, sort of bending to the will of Russia and China, the two main authoritarian governments in the world. And so this resolution calls on President-elect Joe Biden as he takes his office to take a stand for democracy. It also calls upon other leading nations in the world, including the United States, to take a stance against the illegitimate president that is Alexander Lukashenko, and to show support for Svetlana. I won't embarrass myself on her last name, as she was rightfully elected, if you ask any poll people that counted votes in Belarus. So anybody have any questions on this?
I move for previous question.
Thank you, Senator Moyer. Do we have a second? Hearing a second, we will, all those in favor of moving into voting procedure on Senate Resolution 2021-11 Belarus, please raise your hands at this time. All those opposed? Seeing none opposed, we'll move into voting procedure on Senate Resolution 2021-11 Belarus. All those in favor, please go to the participants tab, click the green check mark for yes, the red X for no, and the go slower to abstain. One moment here while the votes are tallied. By what appears to be a vote of 7 to 0 to 6, this resolution has passed. Any further points or motions?
I move to bring Senate Resolution 2021-12 to the floor.
Thank you, Senator Moyer. Do we have a second? Seeing a second from Senator Santi. All those in favor of moving to Senate Resolution 2021-12, please raise your hands at this time. All those opposed? We will, let's see, one moment here. Senator Garvin, Attorney General Gordon, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Speaker. So Jess and I wrote this resolution together, so I will start and Jess will finish on this presentation. But the whereas clause basically talks about how as we go home to our families during these times of heightened political polarization, it's important to be compassionate and respectful for the members of your family, regardless of which side of the aisle you fall on politically. It sort of urges you to sort of keep the dinner table apolitical as possible. So I'll now give the floor to Jess.
Thank you, Mason. So for the most part, this is just saying it's Thanksgiving time, acknowledging the holiday, and also remembering that, like you mentioned earlier, going home to family and friends, remembering that everyone is pretty much on the same playing field, and remember to give thanks for everything. I know it's been like a crazy year, but just to remember to be thankful for what you have and your family and friends, and everything really isn't as bad as what it is. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Senator and Attorney General. Do we have any points or motions?
Wait, can I ask a question or?
Yeah, point of information for Senator Rogel. Go ahead.
Yeah, you could just call me Luis, but so is this like something like I'm confused on like what the legislation accomplishes. Like, is it just like telling everyone on SGA to like be thankful?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Attorney General Gordon.
Yeah, so as you may have noticed from last week's Senate, we often don't have things to vote on. So having something to vote on is nice before we all leave. And this is just a fun resolution to publish and say, hey, go enjoy your break, student body, have a good time with your family, and of course, be respectful to all members of your family.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
The speaker would also like to point out that this is a resolution, which is not necessarily an action document. It's more so something that recognizes, calls on, expresses, things like that. So it is not a piece of legislative policy. It is more so a statement of belief, if that makes any sense. Do we have any points or motions?
I move for previous question.
Thank you, Senator Moyer. Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
Hearing a second from Senator Brown. All those in favor of moving to the previous question, please raise your hands at this time. All those opposed. We will move into voting procedure on Senate Resolution 2021-12. Please go to the Participants tab, click the green check mark for yes, the red X for no, and the go slower to abstain. By a vote of 11-0-3, Senate Resolution 2021-12 has passed. Do we have any further points or motions at this time?
I move to bring Senate Resolution 2021-13 to the floor.
Thank you, Senator Moyer. Do we have any seconds? Seeing a second from Director Cox. All those in favor of opening up Senate Resolution 2021-13, please raise your hands at this time. All those opposed? We will go to this. And this will go to me as an academic senator. This is a resolution where I'll go through this a little bit because this is a longer and a bit more complicated resolution. So the whereas clauses, the important few are, right now, COVID has been an unprecedented change in our lives, and particularly going around academics, social life, and mental and physical well-being of our student body. And also in light of the fact that the Committee on Academic Affairs, which is made up of 7 elected student senators who represent particular constituencies of major groupings. So like I represent social sciences, other kids represent business, like Senator Moyer. And we conducted a survey campus-wide that had close to 1,200 respondents. And this survey gave a lot of feedback. We had comments and great statistics, which is what led this bill to be created. There's quite a few co-sponsors, and we think this is a very important piece of legislation in order to show the administration, particularly the academic side of it and the academic bodies of the university, that the student body would like to see some changes in the future, while also thanking and acknowledging UD for all of its hard work, and thanking students for doing a fairly good job of following the rules as much as possible, and how hard and complicated everything has been during COVID. I yield my time Any points or motions?
Quick point of information. I would just like to invite everyone to read over this real quick. There were some changes made by multiple different people since a message was sent out earlier about this being a thing. So please read over it, co-sponsor if you feel like it, and give your opinion. Thanks. Yield my time.
Thank you for that, Director Pearson. In light of his comment, I think it would be advisable if we would just take a minute or two for people to read through this, particularly the resolved clauses. So I'll give everyone a minute or two to do that, and then we can move forward with any other points or motions.
Point of information.
Director
So-
Cox?
Yeah, so if this passes and like this goes on to like the higher ups and the officials, what are the odds that like this like actually is acted upon? Like for example, like in one where it says request that we have an extension to be given the pass fail option. So I was just wondering like if it passes and it goes on, like what are the odds that they actually like, you know, look at this and like take it into consideration?
A fantastic question, Director, and I thank you very much for asking it. The pass-fail option has been something that's been discussed at Academic Senate, which is made up of faculty members, deans, and a handful of students who are elected to represent particular constituencies. Now that, quite honestly, is the least likely one, although it is, in my opinion, the most important or most relevant one for students to make a difference. But the point of this is to show that the student government and by extension, the student body believes this thing. And we have quantitative and qualitative data to back this up. And as all of us are obviously students, I think we have a unique perspective. And there is absolutely no guarantee that any of this would be acted upon, but I can guarantee that this will be read by those people. And I would hope that they would do their jobs, which I'm sure that they do because many of them do a fantastic job. And in doing so, they will read this and hopefully take some of this into account. I think that this is an important piece of legislation because it puts forward student concerns to them rather than just, you know, kids talking about it amongst ourselves. This is something that they will read, would be my response to that question, Director Cox.
No, yeah, it was just a question.
Thank you.
Speaker.
Any further points or motions?
I moved the previous question.
Thank you.
Information
Senator
before
Brown,
some?
do we have a second on moving to the previous question?
I second that.
Hearing a second from Director Cox. All those in favor of moving the previous question, please raise your hand at this time.
Jesse has a point of information really quick.
All you have to do.
Thank you. We will move back into that.
Is it possible to be added
Senator
as a
Edwards?
co-sponsor right now?
Yes, anyone is welcome to add themselves as a co-sponsor right now. We'd be
I would like to
glad
be
have as many
added,
people.
so I just go in the document.
Yep, you go on the document in the drive, and you just add your, you know, director or senator, whatever your title is. Go ahead and add it in there. And hopefully, you know, this will make some difference. And I thank everyone who has sponsored, co-sponsored, and helped write this. A lot of people put effort into this and really appreciate that. Any further points of information?
I move for previous question.
Thank you, Senator Moyer. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Hearing a second from Director Cox. All those in favor of moving the previous question, please raise your hands at this time. All those opposed, please raise your hands. Seeing no opposition, we will move into voting procedure on Senate Resolution 2021-13. Please go to the Participants tab, click the green check mark for yes, the red X for no, and the go slower to abstain. By what appears to be a 14-0 vote, unanimous Senate Resolution 2021-13 has passed. Any further points or motions at this time?
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, Senator Moyer. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Hearing a second from Director Cox. All those in favor of adjourning, please raise your hands at this time. All those opposed? Seeing no opposition, Senate floor is hereby adjourned. Thank you all very much and have a lovely Thanksgiving and Christmas.